Coming up at 5:30, stopping the swipe. Businesses are supposed to have chip readers for your new debit and credit cards. Why so many still haven't made the switch. Plus,
efforts to require more training for police in dealing with autistic individuals has failed 2 years running. I'm Mike Vasalinda in the state capitol, and I'll tell you why it didn't pass.
also, everybody's not working for the weekend, at least at these local businesses named the best in the state.
And I'll let you know if you're going Pokemon hunting or whatever else might take you outside if you have to deal with some more storms. The forecast is coming up. Eyewitness News at 5:30 starts right now.
Live from the WCTV studios, this is Eyewitness News at 5:30. Coverage you can count on.
When paying by debit or credit at a store, you probably have been asked recently, does your card have the chip? That small metallic chip is supposed to make your transactions a whole lot safer. But here's the problem. Many stores still haven't installed chip readers in their system. Our Erica Fernandez joins us now with more on this. Erica, why haven't more retailers gotten on board with this?
Abby, they say it's mainly because of cost and not knowing what kind of system they actually need. And while the chip is more secure, using it takes a little longer, which has some shoppers growing impatient.
Okay. Do you use the chip or do you swipe? Swipe?
Shoppers like this are still swiping the less secure magnetic strip on their chip credit cards because millions of the new chip readers still aren't working.
It's not as simple as just buying some terminals that you can plug in and poof, everything works. There's a lot of very complicated software coding that goes on behind the scenes.
Despite plenty of notice, many merchants waited until an industry deadline last fall to install the terminals. New rules announced last month should start bringing terminals online faster. But even when the chip readers are working, customers have other complaints.
The whole process is a lot more time consuming than swiping a card.
Chip cards must stay in the terminal while the transaction is being completed. On average, it's a 10-second wait. But now Visa is introducing a software upgrade called Quick Chip.
The consumer will be able to remove their card a lot more quickly from the terminal than waiting for the authorization to go out and come back. Insert the card, wait less than 2 seconds, and remove the card.
Quick Chip is expected in some stores this summer, but widespread use will require another wait. Now, Abby, you'll find plenty of local businesses that still haven't upgraded to the new system. However, the shoppers I talked to today are embracing the change despite the wait.
And I just think it definitely gives you that extra security as far as making sure that your card and your account is protected.
Well, I think that's the way that we're going with technology. We're eventually going to have to use it because things are headed that way.
It's fine. It's more secure, and that's the way the industry needs to go.
Now, I will admit I was a little hesitant to use the chip myself, and even though it does take a few more seconds to check out, I think the security and safety measures are worth it. Abby, what about you?
I agree, Erica, on the safety part. I just don't like the sound it makes. I remember the first time I used mine, it was that awful sound. I thought it had rejected my card. They need a whole new sound, I feel like. Thank you very much, Erica, for that. Well, turning now to some other news. Attorneys for a behavioral therapist say they're still looking for answers. Earlier this week, Charles Kinsey was shot by police while attending to an autistic patient. The tense moments before Kinsey were caught on camera, which you see here. Kinsey continues to recover at the hospital from a gunshot wound to his leg. The police union say the officer misfired his gun. However, Kinsey's attorneys say that doesn't add up.
There is no justification, and the reality of it is that the reason why we're here and the reason why people across the world are really upset about this.
The attorney says video of the shooting itself has not surfaced. And this particular shooting now has police trying to figure out how to increase their training with people who are autistic. But as Mike Vasalinda tells us, so far efforts for this training have gone nowhere.
This video of a police officer shouting for an autistic man to lay down fell on deaf ears. Autism experts say the man sitting had no idea what he was being asked to do.
So how important is it that police officers get better training in recognizing someone on the spectrum?
It's critical. It's critical for every single community because the individuals in a community have to feel like they can trust their police departments. I mean, I see a police officer and I thank them for their service, you know, and I'll also say, have you had any training on autism?
The answer is usually no. Florida currently spends $67 a year on each officer for training and retraining. Efforts to provide additional training for police to deal with autistic individuals has failed 2 years in a row because of cost. Lawmakers did pass a bill this past session that requires police to allow experts in the room when they're interviewing an autistic individual.
I think what people need to know is that there aren't bad guys, good guys in this process. It's about education.
Sheriff Mike Wood says better training will help officers re-earn the respect they appear to have lost.
There are circumstances like that aren't necessarily with evil intent, but when you have lack of training and lack of preparation, these things occur.
280,000 Floridians, or 1 in every 68 of us, is said to show up on the autism disorder spectrum. Mike Vasalinda, WCTV Eyewitness News, Tallahassee.
FDLE is investigating that incident. Well, looking to cool off on a hot summer day here in North Florida might mean heading to one of our local springs. As meteorologist Brittany Beatty explains, the state is now making sure the water entering those areas is clean for generations to come.
Wakulla Springs is a hidden gem throughout North Florida, and more than 8 local springs are being awarded more than $15 million for preservation, conservation, and cleanup for surrounding areas that drain into these freshwater basins. The money comes from Governor Rick Scott's 2016 to 2017 Florida First budget, funding restoration projects in Wakulla, Leon, Jackson, Bay, and Washington counties. The Wakulla Springs projects focus on bringing a sewer system to areas using septic tanks. It's part of the effort to reduce nitrate levels in the springs. The chemical compound causes algae growth, among other environmental and human health concerns. Though it takes time, Wakulla Springs management says it will lead to improvements.
Water clarity and the biological health. It's an ecosystem, so every element in that ecosystem contributes to the health of the overall system. By addressing the septic tanks, that's really going to address one big part of the puzzle.
Aside from using the funding to clean out septic systems in nearby areas that flow into Wakulla Springs, the funding is also going to be used to help clear out invasive species, including the hydrilla that is currently growing in Wakulla Springs. Reporting in Wakulla County, Brittany Beatty, WCTV Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, Brittany. And we turn it over now to Chief Meteorologist Mike McCall. Mike, Wakulla Springs and all the springs around here are beautiful. I'm just glad they're now so clear that we can have the glass bottom boats running again.
That is nice to see, and as you just heard from Brittany, there's still some more work to be done. Let's hope that they can get everything pushed through, because it's still not as clear as it was 5, 10, 15 years ago, but hopefully everything will get back there. And this has been a great summer to head down to Wakulla Springs, because when you see those mid to upper 90s, it's fantastic to go down there and get in that chilly water. It takes a little getting used to, but then you'll be just fine. Nothing going on. Wakulla Springs, Wakulla County, all nice and clear, but we do have scattered storms elsewhere. Nothing severe, and the change today is that we don't see that upper level energy dropping some storms in from the north, but we still have the scattered showers that are coming in more from the southeast and moving toward the northwest. And a lot of these are still just developing. Neat little outflow boundary from some earlier storms pushing its way all the way up into parts of South Georgia. Still expect to see a few more storms, and I think a few of these that are out toward the eastern sections, these might get enhanced a little bit later on tonight. Bottom line is, it is still the typical summery pattern, but not quite as hot. But I'll let you know if that will continue for tomorrow and Sunday. Have the full forecast, plus look at the tropics too in a few more minutes.
All right, we'll take not quite as hot. Thanks, Mike. When it comes to people out of work, Florida's unemployment rate is staying the same. Today, state officials announced the jobless rate was 4.7% in June. That was the same rate in May, but it's still lower than the nation's rate of 4.9%. The state added 9,800 jobs last month. And speaking of jobs in Florida, where's the best place to work? A new report finds there are 6 places here in Tallahassee ranking in the top 100 of best places to work in Florida. Our Charlene Cristobal is digging deeper into the ranking. Charlene, what local companies actually made that list?
All right, Abby, this is the list. Now, it is 6 pages long when you print it out, but it's from Florida Trend Magazine. They compile these rankings every year, and employees tell me it's no surprise their company is a winner. First up, Capital City Bank. They are the only large company in Tallahassee to make the list, and they are ranking number 22 on the list. 2 Tallahassee companies are on the mid-size list, including law firm Osley McMullen, ranking number 4 in that category, and MCCI. It ranks number 9 best mid-size company to work for, and employees there agree.
Honestly, it doesn't feel like a job. Like some days, you come here, like most jobs you go into, people just collect paychecks. Honestly, when you come in here, I mean, it's like I say, there's great people here.
Leadership and the direction the company is going, and everyone's drive to continue to grow the company.
MCCI is an IT consulting firm. They help clients get better efficiency by going paperless. It's called Tallahassee Home for 16 years now. Take a look here. Here's another on the list. More Communications is number 11 for small companies. Roger Gunter Vaughn Insurance, number 21. And Partners in Association Management is number 22 on that list. Okay, so the big question now is how in the world did they come up with this list, right? We'll take a look here. Florida Trend asked companies about policies, practices, and demos. They then asked employees about their experience. So questions like corporate culture, job satisfaction, and environment as well. Now, given the list, we contacted a career source here in town. They tell us it all makes sense given that people at any workplace are a top commodity. And Abby, if you're interested in looking at the full list, it's up on our website, wctv.tv. And I'm kind of upset that we didn't make that list, right?
I think internally we say that we made the list. We are going to give ourselves that award. Thank you very much, Charlene. Well, after the break, we'll take a look at who's out and who's in at Fox News.